Three little words can make a big impact: liberty, equality, fraternity. This summed up the French Revolution. Life, liberty, happiness, these are the keys to the U.S. Declaration of Independence. For economists, those three important words are supply, demand, price. But what do these words really mean, and why are they so crucial? In this video, we're going to explore the concept of supply, demand, and price, and why they matter so much. In any market transaction between a seller and a buyer, the price of a good or service is determined by supply and demand. These are influenced by technology and the conditions under which people operate. On one end, the market may have many sellers and buyers offering similar products, like ballpoint pens. On the other end, there might be only one seller and one buyer, such as bartering a table for a quilt. Economists use models to explain different market types. One basic model is perfect competition, where many identical suppliers and buyers exist. In this scenario, buyers and sellers can find each other easily, and new suppliers can enter the market without obstacles. Here, no single participant can influence the prices. Everyone accepts the market price. The market clearing price is where there is neither too much supply nor too much demand. Suppliers will produce as long as the selling price is higher than their cost to make one more item, marginal cost. Buyers will purchase as long as the satisfaction they get is greater than the price paid, which is marginal utility. If the prices go up, more suppliers will enter the market, increasing supply until the market clearing price is achieved again. If prices drop, those who can't cover their costs will exit the market. Economists combine the amounts suppliers are willing to produce at different prices into the supply curve. Generally, the higher the price, the more suppliers will produce. On the flip side, consumers tend to buy more of a product when the price is lower. The demand curve represents the quantities consumers are willing to buy at various prices. Supply and demand curves can be shown on a graph, with prices on the vertical axis and quantities on the horizontal axis. Supply usually slopes upward because as prices increase, suppliers are willing to produce more. Conversely, demand slopes downward because consumers buy less at higher prices. The intersection of these two curves represents the market clearing price, where the quantity supplied equals the quantity demanded. Prices can change due to various factors like technology, consumer preferences, and weather conditions. The relationship between supply and demand and price changes is known as elasticity. Inelastic goods are not significantly affected by price changes, while elastic goods are highly responsive to price fluctuations. For instance, energy is an inelastic good because people need it for essential activities like commuting and heating their homes. In the short term, it is difficult or impossible for consumers to switch to more energy-efficient cars or houses. On the other hand, steak is an elastic good. If steak prices rise, consumers may quickly switch to cheaper cuts of beef or other types of meat. Most markets are not perfect. They do not consist of unlimited buyers and sellers dealing in virtually identical items with perfect information. On the other end of the spectrum from perfect competition is a monopoly. In a monopoly, there is only one supplier of a good with no simple substitute. The monopolist sets the price instead of taking it as a given. A related concept is monopsony, where there is only one buyer, often a government, though there may be many suppliers. In monopoly situations, barriers, either natural or legal, often prevent new competitors from entering the market. Utilities, for example, are commonly monopolies because having multiple water companies managing resources and infrastructure would be inefficient. Consumers, therefore, are left with no choice but to buy from the monopolist, which can lead to unaffordable prices. To prevent abuse of market power, governments typically regulate these monopolies, ensuring prices remain reasonable. In exchange for allowing a company to be the sole provider, there may be conditions such as providing minimum services to everyone or imposing price caps to ensure affordability. These price caps are designed to allow companies to recover their fixed costs. Monopolists are aware of demand fluctuations, similar to firms in perfect competition. However, unlike firms in a competitive market, which serve only part of the total demand, monopolists cater to the entire market's demand. This allows an unregulated monopolist to produce a quantity that maximizes its profit. usually resulting in higher prices and lower output compared to a perfectly competitive market. In perfect competition, a firm with lower costs can reduce its price to attract more customers, compensating for the lost revenue on existing sales. For instance, if a firm earns 5 cents per unit selling 1,000 units, totaling $50 in a market of 100,000 units, it can lower its price by 1 cent and sell an additional 1,000 units. This increase in sales volume would boost its profits to $80 from the new total sales of 2,000 units. But in this case, selling 100,000 units at 5 cents each, making a profit of $5,000. Reducing the price might boost total sales, but not enough to make up for the revenue lost on existing sales. If the price drops by 1 cent, increasing demand by 1,000 units, it adds $40 to revenues. However, the monopolist would lose a penny of profit on each of the 100,000 units previously sold, resulting in a $1,000 loss. In a monopoly, prices and profits are higher, and supply is often lower than in a perfectly competitive market. There are other market structures where buyers and sellers have more power than in perfect competition, but less than in a monopoly, leading to higher prices and lower production compared to perfect competition. The nature of the product also affects supply and demand. In perfect competition, all producers make and buyers seek similar products or close substitutes. In a monopoly, buyers lack easy substitutes. Product variety allows for substitution across types. For instance, the tomato market involves more than just matching buyers and sellers of a standard tomato. Consumers may prefer different types, and producers can respond by offering varieties like cherry, beefsteak, and heirloom tomatoes to cater to different tastes. Competitors could choose to introduce new varieties rather than directly competing with an existing producer using the same technology. Consequently, even in competitive markets with differentiated products, producers have limited power to set prices. Different varieties can still be substituted for one another, even if imperfectly, so prices are not as high as in monopolies. But complications arise when unique product features are costly to develop but easy to replicate inexpensively, as seen in books, drugs, and computer software. Creating a book involves significant effort. Yet printing additional copies incurs minimal expenses. While consumers purchase multiple books, once a title gains popularity, competitors may undercut the original publisher by offering their versions. To help authors and publishers recover initial investments, governments grant temporary monopolies known as copyrights. This legal protection allows prices to surpass production costs, encouraging authors to continue writing and publishers to produce and market books, ensuring ongoing availability. Different market structures reflect how supply and demand vary based on circumstances. Factors like production methods, consumer choices, and challenges in connecting sellers and buyers impact prices. These elements collectively determine the market's equilibrium price. For more insights on economics, please like, share, and subscribe.